Sanded it down to 3000. I've lost my buff. So the last job before Christmas, which is tonight, is to get this sealed up. So the trimmer's got all his bits and pieces he needs to make everything fit. So give that a good sand and a Scotch-Brite everywhere. And I'm going to just now put a couple of good solid coats of the old Vibrance epoxy urethane on there. And then when I start in the new year, I'll be able to put some filler on there and get underway. So that's the quarters and the roof and all the boot and all the inside sealed up with Vibrance for the last time before we go to filler. So it makes the whole thing look a whole lot nicer. Good evening. What's happening, Joel?
I'm going to fix the damage on Dave's Summernats car.
So Joel's the man that originally painted the car, and what I like about Joel likes to work in his thongs because he does this for a living and hates the boots. So he's here tonight. It's after hours, so it doesn't matter. So you're going to give this a whiz and a tidy up, and I'll keep an eye on him and make sure we get some footage. So what's the plan, mate? What's the process?
So we've taped it up and cleaned it because we can't take anything off, being the nature of the car. Got some 180 paper, and we'll feather the damage out and get some primer on it.
Give her a whiz. So what brick you down to now, mate?
It's just 80 here to
still on the 80.
Get this bit off that you can't get to with the machine.
Get the groove out. A late night session happening here. A little bit of damage from a couple of years ago, so decided to do it right at the last minute, of course. Joel's been called in on the job. Nice little coat of the old PPG Vibrance Clear. So a little bit more clean up on the ute. So I've actually got the rotors off, getting a bit of a machine up because living in Wollongong, you've got to come down that bloody Mount Ousley all the time and they seem to shine up a fair bit. So they're in getting done and I'll put a new set of pads on it. Now these calipers, I painted these 2 years ago, just with PPG direct gloss, put the stickers on and then put a coat of 2K clear over the top. So they're 2 years old and they're holding up extremely well. So if anyone ever asks you whether you need to use something special, I haven't and I've had a good result. So I run out of wheel cleaner. I normally use wheel cleaner to do this little job, but the old Speed's doing the job again, so the all-purpose cleaner. And I'll just give that a spray and then a bit of a brush up with a cheap paintbrush just to work it through, and it's coming up a treat. So a little drama in the ute yesterday. Obviously tyre pressures must have been a bit low and pinched that somewhere on one of the bridge crossings or something, so a bit unfortunate, but I was going to get the wheels done anyhow, so just in case it's got a bit of a lump in it or something. This one had already started to let go around the cap. So I had these redone a few years ago and they've been really good, and this was the spare, so I'm going to get that spare redone and the one that's got the damage on it. And then this one over here got knocked around at some stage, so it will become the spare now. So we'll get all that sorted and that'll be another job done for the Summernats. Righto, so I've got all that back together, had these machined, So I've done about 500 k's since then, because we did a quick trip down to Canberra yesterday, and I've just given that a wipe over. So I've already talked about the paint, but people often ask me, so I use the VHT Flameproof on the rotors. So it's cast iron, and it just looks like it's cast iron, but obviously it doesn't rust. So love that look. And then when you look back in here, I clean all of this with that plastic cleaner, so the naturally black, and then put the naturally black on it. And I just like it that when you look in to the wheel arch, you get that nice sort of newish look, even though the car's sort of 15 years old. So like I said, I zipped down to Canberra yesterday to catch up with Adam and Kylie and our goddaughter yesterday. So that's just the brake dust and all from heading down there. So these wheels were painted, this particular wheel is one of the two that's been done for a couple of years, but every 6 months or so I like to keep them nice and clean, because you look through the spoke and it just adds to that sort of detailed look. So I've got the bow pretty much how I want it. So just remember, I'm not getting judged on nothing. This is just me trying to make my car the best I can make it, saying I've entered it, and I'm just going to go down there, have a good time, cruise it around, and if someone wants to look under the bonnet, I'm going to be proud of it and say, this is my driver, I love it, and I put the love into it. Another little job I've been doing is the rear wing. So a lot of people know this era of car, the clears sometimes played up on them. So this actually had a couple of areas where the clear was flaking off it. So I've stripped it all back, give it a coat of base coat and a couple of coats of the old Vibrance Custom Clear, and I've just got a few little bits to denib out of it, but I'm really happy. The match come up good. The boys did the colour up there the other day for me, so another job off the list. So the next job is to get all the crap ready for Summernats. So normally take a few deck ears, the old Astill Design sign. So it's been a couple of years now, so everything's all sort of folded up. So I'll get that out in a few days advance, get my marquee organised. So we'll be hanging out at the PPG tent, but you've got to get organised. So that's what I'm trying to do this week. I've got one banner hanging on the fence in the sun so that we can get all the creases out of it, and we'll be good to go. So don't forget your hat as well. You've got to have a hat for Summernats. It's bloody hot down there. Hey?
I said I'll keep this one.
Righto, so the bumper, it was in episode 26, the colour and all that sort of stuff. So I've given it a colour sand, and I'm in the process of just giving it a buff. So I've had the sanded it down to 3000. I've lost my buff. I'll have this all buffed up nice on the PPG stand. Come in and have a look at the colour and have a chat, and I can talk to you about what we're up to. But I'll have this all polished up, looking like $1,000,000, so you can check out the colour. So I just come over next door to see Dave, can't find him. He had a big night last night, so I'm surmising he's probably in bed having a little kip this Arvo. I'm just about to give him a lawns one last go, so you'll see that later. And I just thought I'd bring you over and show you the bar on chop. It's all done now, all good. Probably needs a polish, but that'll be up to Howard, I guess, over the New Year break. Boys have got plenty of sets for the 20s for Skid Row, so keep an eye out for them. If there's an empty seat, hit them up, they'll probably take you for a cruise. Thought I'd better grab a bit of shade. It's pretty warm today, but I decided one more cut for the year. So the year's done. Thanks everyone so much for joining me at home, around the yard, cars. Next year we're going to go out and look at other things, what other people are doing. Thanks very much. Enjoy your new year, and we'll see you later in the year, next year.